Welcome to another episode of the Brain Picking Podcast. I'm your host Miles, and today I'm going to be picking the brain of the owner and founder of the Atrium Health Club, Joshua Baines. How are we, Josh?
Yeah, good, mate. It's going to be
fun. So as mentioned, you are the owner and founder of the Atrium Health Club, and obviously I take it that was your idea. That was you went, right, this is what I'm going to do. I mean, how does the Atrium come about? How does that, what position were you in for that to land on your plate and go, you know what, this is actually doable, I'm going to do
it? Two different questions there. One, how it came about, and two, whether it was doable or not. How it came about, I guess my life journey leading up to that was, had a really nice upbringing, lots of kind of close family friends, good mates at school, the same kind of life ups and downs that I'm sure lots and lots of people have gone on, and then left school, tried to become a pro footballer, so took a bit of time out. That was the plan A.
I didn't know that,
and that didn't quite work out. Fell into the non-league system and have stayed there for 13 years, but loved every minute of it. Haven't had quite as much on the pitch success as I'd have liked, but I've loved being a part of different teams. I've had some really good memories, and it's been a really fun journey. And then a couple of years after leaving school, when realised, probably the pro game's not going to be for me, went to university, did sports science, and largely because I had no idea what I wanted to go into. So uni was kind of let's make sure I've got something there. During the 3 years of uni, did my personal training course, did my sports massage course, so kind of added a few strings to the bow, and then came out of uni, started working as a PT and as a sports massage therapist quite quickly.
Where did you start? What gym were you working at?
Original was a little bit of work at what is now 365 Gym.
That
was simply Gym at the time, might have even still been Fitness First. I was training there when it was Fitness First. So that's where I started to PT a little bit, and that was probably plan A, really. That it wasn't. I would be lying if I said it was all my idea. This kind of heart behind the Atrium. There was other people involved at the start. That plan A was to be involved with and run it in that way. And so plan A, the kind of plan behind the Atrium, it's probably materialised differently and been steered in a different way since or then, but kind of at the origin when the opportunity arose. Became even better friends than I was already with Kev Townsend, who's the landowner. His company owned the land.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
So they bought the site off Prudential. They were kind of behind the dream that we wanted to help realise. And so they bought it. They don't have any stake in the Atrium other than being landowners and kind of supporters, encouragers. Prayerful supporters from the sidelines. We've had to get funding in all sorts of different ways to help make the Atrium get to where it is now. And so they've been one of the companies that's kind of supported with some of the investment. But so it was Kev and I that kind of steered that early phase after the offer was accepted for them to run the site. We then had to quite quickly go, oh my goodness me, how are we going to make this thing happen?
The Atrium in itself is huge. The actual, not as in, I'm talking like the building and the site. There's so much to it, and there's all these rooms, all these other kind of little businesses kind of growing within it, isn't there? And I think that's what's made the Atrium feel what it is today, especially amongst the people that kind of are a part of the Atrium as your members, or the regulars up at the bar, or the people that go and get their haircut or their dog groomed or something like that. It's the fact that there is like so much in this one space. It's just kind of like, I think that's why it's kind of thriving in a way. So you're saying that there was the point that the opportunity arose of potentially working at the Atrium property, what it is today. And how does that come about? Where did you get whisper of it? And because before, the opportunity came, but did you have the idea beforehand that you wanted to be?
So while we were running out of the site, being as respectful as possible. Like it was a site that was really, really tired.
Yeah.
And a site that needed heaps and heaps of tender love and care. But it was also just a site perfectly placed, kind of right in the heart of Reading, far enough out of the town centre, close enough to kind of the west, the east, close enough to town, close enough to Tilehurst, which is a kind of really densely populated area of Tilehurst.
It is,
I've lived in Tilehurst my whole life, so quite passionate about the area. And it was just this beautiful site. Like you drive under the bridge and down the lane, and it just screams potential at you.
Yes.
Probably everyone that drives into the lane thinks about things that they could do with the site and thinks about things that could happen there.
Yeah.
And we're trying our best to make good decisions to kind of realise the potential that lots of people will see there. And we were obviously working out of there, so we're aware that things were changing.
Okay.
When offers were going in, we had to pitch our dream. As part of the sell. Prudential didn't want to hand this thing over to anyone that was going to do anything with it. There's a covenant on the land to suggest it needed to stay as a kind of recreational facility, so it wasn't ever going to be bought for land development or housing or anything like that. And we were kind of not only like ambitious and dreaming big to think, wow, this could be an amazing place, kind of willing and able in our kind of life space to give that a go. And the kind of multifaceted community that's becoming, that was the OG dream. Like the people behind it are furiously passionate about people. We would define the kind of success of the place and the success of what we're doing and the success of our own lives really by the quality of relationships. We try to make that clear to the business leaders, the staff on a regular basis, and any members that we do build close relationships with, that is way more important to us than numbers on the sheet, the bottom line of the spreadsheet, how nice and jazzy and shiny the kit is. Actually, the relationships that we can build with the people that come through the front door is what we're really passionate about, and that was plan A. We didn't necessarily come with experience of running a health club. We had none. We didn't come with experience of running a big business. We had none. We didn't come with experience of building a kind of staff structure, running a gym, all this. We didn't have that experience. We didn't have that. What we did is we had a real drive to create a genuine community built on relationship, built on support, built on people willing to share their lives with people. And that's what we've seen, I guess, over 3.5 years of the Atrium. We've seen people come in the front door and cry. We've seen people come in the door and ask for prayer. We've seen people come in the door and laugh. We've seen the Atrium become people's safe space. We've seen relationships start, whether that's friendships, whether that's relationships between members and members of staff.
I wonder who you're talking about.
Honestly, we've just seen genuine relationships be built, not just between us and other people, but between other people and other people, which has been amazing. Where we've seen kind of people get married and people from the Atrium go to weddings. People have seen we've journeyed alongside, even just in 3.5 years, people that we've managed to get to know, go through some really, really horrible things and really tough times, and it's a privilege and to be able to go through those things with them and see them journey through that stuff and see them lean on other people and see them choose to kind of talk things out and choose to share those bits with people, and it's a real kind of privilege to be able to journey through life, whether that's the ups and downs, whether that's the kind of amazing exciting bits of passing driving tests and getting married and having babies, and to smaller wins like getting PBs in the gym or losing weight or getting fitter or getting through an injury or whatever that may be, or starting a business or the things that we've seen people happen, and then to kind of little lows and massive lows that people have been through, that we've been able to kind of walk alongside and hopefully be a positive influence as a site and as people in that element. And the kind of best feedback that we could get is when we hear that we're a kind of safe space for people, that people come to us to lean on us, people phone staff in their out of need. That's ticking all the boxes we want it to be, really. Be a real genuine place in the community, not just by geography, but by kind of leaving a positive mark on the local area and beyond, really. And I guess that's steered, and the origin and the main element of our business is the gym. And some of our knowledge at the start was we knew to an extent what we were doing in the fitness game. So thought actually, let's start by starting a gym with exactly the same values. We are going to love each individual that comes through the door. If only 10 people join this gym, we're going to be passionate about helping them achieve something in the gym, and hopefully build relationships with them, and hopefully continue that throughout whatever else we chose to do. So,
I mean, I'd agree with you wholeheartedly about the community being. It is about. It's not about coming in and going to a gym, is it? I mean, at the heart of it, it was always relationship. I could definitely see that. I mean, there's always someone smiling at you, saying hello when you walk in the door. There's always a PT to speak to, or someone friendly, and you recognise people. And it didn't take long before. I mean, I've trained at the Atrium now about 3 years, I think now. And it's like, that's crazy, isn't it, to think about that, actually.
Long time, man.
And like, I still remember the first time coming in, and you came straight over to me and my mate that were training together, and you were asking us what we think of it, and where's the improvement, and what we were like. But I think the most important questions that you were asking were about us, not about... Because, I mean, every business owner wants to go, right, okay, what do you think? What do you think? But I think you were quicker to ask who we were, what we were like, what we train like, what we're doing, all things like that. And you kind of, you made us felt very welcome. And I think that's something that you've done across the board. I also think that's something that all your members of staff really hold together. And I think that's an amazing thing. And it doesn't take long before I can say, you know what, I've got so many mates, and they're all from the Atrium. It's like, it's so easy to say that now. So no, I think you've hit the nail exactly where you wanted to, in the sense of growing that community. So I mean, congratulations on that side, I suppose. I wanna pick up on the fact that you said you had no experience going into this. I mean, had you run a business beforehand?
No, I had run my own sole trader, personal training, and sports massage business. So,
I mean, that's chalk and cheese, isn't it? Really, to be a PT, to then go, right, I'm going to own a gym. I'm going to own a full-fledged gym. I mean, when you're a PT, you can kind of have a niche. When you've got a gym, you can have a niche, but you still got to kind of spread yourself to fit so many people. I mean, what was that like? What was the point that you went, oh, flipping hell, you know what, this might be a bit bigger than my PT stuff?
At what point did I realise that the Atrium was going to be that?
Yeah.
Day one.
Really?
Day one.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, mate, like, there was decisions that you just never had to make, right? Like, when you're a PT, learn quickly through good people around me when I was learning the personal training game that the personal came first.
Yep.
So even back then, actually building a relationship with clients was more important than just whether you could count their reps or tell them to squat or deadlift.
Yep.
So building a relationship with clients was always important, and then hopefully trying to be a good PT. There's lots of people that do really care about being good at what they do, and there's plenty of better personal trainers than I was around the local area. But being more than just somebody that was wanting to take money, find an income from this game, actually wanting to have an influence on the people that I was training. So going from that, which is not an easy job.
No,
we're hopefully being good supporters and teammates to the personal trainers that are in our site, and we really value the quality of their work. And hopefully we can contribute to them becoming really good, successful personal trainers, and creating some longevity in that game for them. And we've got an awesome team. One quick plug for them is that I was told before we started that your site will only be as good as the people that you have working there. And hearing regular kind of positive feedback about the site and what it's doing is is all down. This sounds really cliche, but it's all down to what they're doing. It's an absolute joy to come into work and work alongside them, work with them, and see them carry on the vision that is, we really give a damn about people. And they do amazing work, like in the gym itself, whether that's teaching classes, running programs for members, meeting with members, offering them just support, getting to know them in the gym, steering especially the junior members away from unhelpful exercises or bad form and bad technique. And they're just amazing at what they do. And that's amazing to see, really. And that's right from any team that we have. We obviously have a bar at the site that every individual that works for us, we really care about the quality of service that they are giving. So if we're running a birthday party up in the bar in the function space, we care about the quality of service behind the bar. We care about the quality of pint of Guinness that you're pouring. And hope that whether it's coming in there, whether it's coming in to meet front of house and getting an awesome smile and a how can I help, whether it's coming into the gym and getting really good quality service and help on your fitness journey, I have 100% faith in each individual that's working for us that they're going to give that. And so that's amazing. And so that the success of our site has been the success of us finding and hopefully helping the individuals that work for us now to be awesome, really, because they are. I can't even remember the question that you asked me now.
It was kind of like, it was talking about
day one.
What point? What point? So you've got the everything's signed. The building is yours. You're allowed to go in and begin the Atrium. What does beginning the Atrium Health Club look like? So
quite quickly when we realised flipping heck, this is happening now. There's only one choice, right? We make this work. This either lives or dies. We fail this thing or we make this good. And that put together a team of advisors.
Okay.
So people that had run businesses before, these were friends.
Straight off the bat.
You know what? That was advice from one of the advisors. Well, one of the person. He wasn't an advisor as such at the start, but he was a person giving lots of advice.
Of course. And
was kind of on the phone to him every day. Was in a couple of early meetings with people that we were having to try and work out how we were going to start this thing. And so he said, look, put together a team of advisors that can hold you really accountable, can steer you in different directions. So put together a team of 8. They were people that had run different businesses in different fields before, 1 or 2 from the fitness game, somebody with heavy knowledge of finance, someone with heavy knowledge of the local kind of Reading area, someone that's been good at sales, someone that's run a couple of larger scale businesses before. 7 of the 8 were Christians, and obviously a lot of the heart behind our site was stemmed from our faith. So that's where a lot of the values come from, and so that just helped kind of match accountability that we weren't trying to take into a direction that we didn't want to. So that was helpful. And these 8 in the early stages, we met online regularly, we met in person with a couple of them regularly. It was obviously mid 2021, which is a weird time to remember now, but a lot of meetings were on screens.
Of course.
And that was weird, prepping in that kind of time for a site that was going to be people. And actually the more face-to-face contact, the better, once we're running in a time where you weren't really allowed that still.
Of course. I mean, there's no working from home when you open a gym,
absolutely.
Is there? There's no, okay, I'm going to do my class at home.
So and one of the things that the advisor said early on, in fact, meeting 1 was, this is way too big for just you. So I was like, cool, what do I do now?
Okay.
So I had a chat with a few people and wondered who might be a really good kind of teammate in this, and that's where Gaz came along. So Gaz was at a bit of a helpful crossroads in his life, in that he had just finished his uni in Manchester, was in a bit of a kind of what's next phase. He was someone that I knew from when we were kids, someone that I knew was 100% trustworthy. I knew was willing to kind of get a bit of dust and grease under his fingernails and really graft. Someone that was a fantastic people person, and someone that shared a lot of the passions and visions that we wanted to achieve. And so we didn't know where that relationship would go, but he was like, I'm happy to come and jump in with 2 feet.
So he wasn't even part of it when you had the idea of, hold on, we could actually do this. And
no,
it was after.
It was Kev the landlord and me.
You know what?
And that started with a few walks around Tarlest, really.
So then
Gaz came along, and obviously he was up in Manchester, so we had same, like calls on Zoom and calls over the phone, and started to chat lots and lots and lots. The atrium was tough to give a name to, like trying to work out a multifaceted site that's not just a gym, that's kind of this all-encompassing thing. We had mood boards around at my mum's. We had some friends, and we had name after name after name, and nothing stuck.
Can you share some of the names?
We actually landed on the Village.
The Village.
The Village.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is in the Village Health Club or just the Village?
Just the Village at the start.
Wow. Okay.
And then realised that actually there is there's another large chain in a similar industry called the Village, and that might not be helpful. Realised that after kind of landing there and putting a logo to it and stuff like that.
Yeah. But also you've got to think about the Google search.
Yeah.
Because if you just search the Village, and you can have a list of every single village in the UK come up.
So then when we had to sack that off, we racked our brains again. Yeah. There was all sorts. We were thinking about where we were, like next to the river. We wanted to be different than the previous name, which was Rivers.
Yep.
We were next to the railway. We're in certain areas of Reading. So we were just racking our brains, and nothing would stick, and nothing would stick. And I can't even remember who mentioned Atrium at the start. But it just sounded right. Yeah. It's actually been a pain in some ways. Like no one knows how to fucking spell it. Yeah. Like it's difficult to hear sometimes. So, but in a lot of ways, it was very neutral. It didn't kind of point towards gym. It didn't point towards sport. It didn't point towards anything. Yeah. The front of our building has what is an atrium. The atrium is part of your heart, and we really wanted to
inside of the gym.
So it's inside the gym.
Yeah. That's also an atrium.
It had tenuous links to the heart, and we wanted to, one, touch people's hearts, and two, be a heartbeat of that local area. So I mean, in a lot of ways, it was a really tenuous link. But once it stuck, right? Yeah, a bit like, I don't have any kids, but I assume what naming a child looks like. Like, you think of all these names, I assume your mum and dad having a baby, and then once the child is named that, they are named that, and that's them, and I bet you can't look at them and think you're another name from then on. And it's difficult to imagine it with anything other than the atrium now. But there was no specific reason why it was the atrium, other than we were trying to find something really neutral among lots of different aspects to the site. And something that wasn't cheap. Like, we want to be a site that's a really good product.
Quality
product for hopefully
like a premium health club.
Quality product for hopefully affordable to most people prices. A price that reflects the quality, but a price that's reachable for people to come and be a part of what we're doing. And we want that across everywhere. Every bit that we refurb. We started with the gym, which from day one we had a team of 11 of us. There was probably a photo somewhere. I think that photo might have even got to Reading Chronicle at the time.
Really? Okay.
That was mates from church. No one being paid. No one doing anything. People willing to work till 2 a.m. Wow. We would go home, people would have a nap at the site, we'd go home, we'd go to bed, we'd get up at 6 and we'd come back and do the same again.
Wow.
And we had very little, like at the start, we had very little money behind us. We were starting this site that needed, in all honesty, millions of pounds worth of investment, and we were just breaking into the tens of thousands to be open a little bit about the early finances. And we had to get a gym going. And the people around us just helped. We had helper after helper after helper, and we ripped out this old gym that was in there. We painted it. We prepped the floors. We put all the things in, and then worked with Diaco, who supply our gym kit, and they put us in touch with floorers, electricians.
Wow.
We had a kind of, one of our advisors is a local surveyor, and he just had good contacts in that game. So we met with ventilation people and aircon people and all these things that you don't even think of. Sound people to get sound and all this stuff. And again, none of us had been project managers before. None of us knew all the boxes to tick, and just got good advice early on. And so they came in and did all the specialist work, which again, we got early big loans for, which is where suddenly the pressure jumps into your shoulders, right? Like when it's just all you and loads of mates ripping apart this thing. It's quite an exciting project, going, this is insane. Like, oh, is this even going to happen? And then obviously the loans come in to pay for the big stuff, and you're like, cool, we've got to pay these back. And then obviously alongside this, obviously we're prepping a staffing structure. And there was some staff that had been at the old place. There were some people that I knew around that I thought might be great people to come in and be a part of this thing. And some of the people that had kind of worked along that I'd already had relationships with, and now some of our kind of gym and business leaders. Which is awesome to kind of see that transition for them, and also to be able to trust and just almost leave the business and the site in their hands is amazing, really. But yeah, that journey, that kind of glimmer of 3 months, we got the keys to the site on the 18th of June in 2021 and opened the gym on the 1st of September.
That is
and
insane.
I would love to give you stories of that time, but it is just a whirlwind, mate. Again, some of us might put it down to miraculous energy provided from above. Some people might just be in a bit of a kind of a bubble or a whirlwind. Some people might just think actually that might be normal people's working routine, right? But we were talking kind of a team of 8, 9, 10 individuals that put a pause on their own life and just poured their heart and soul into this thing. And we all did it together, right? It was a right laugh. We were ordering food in, and my mum was bringing food down to kind of fuel the team, and it just happened. And all in and amongst that, we were kind of prepping the kind of genuine structure behind the business and all the other things that we had to do. We started to sublet off a couple of bits of the site. So like you said, the non-Atrium bits of the Atrium community. So we had, I think, in that first 2 months, we had 4 businesses come and sublet from the site. 2 of which were already there. The Football Academy, which we kind of just created a new deal with, and Dolphins Caribbean Cuisine. He's obviously a famous person around the site with his demeanour and his ringtone, his smile and his big laugh, and his amazing food. So they were the 2 that kind of came on with us, and then rented out a couple of our rooms, which we had to just tidy up before we did. And that kind of early 4 businesses is now 16, I think.
I mean, that's insane,
not
isn't
including
it?
any of our PTs, which are obviously running their own businesses as well.
Within
so including the Atrium, there's over 20 businesses at the site. Which again, we never dreamed of that. Like we hoped that this would be a site where people wanted to come and work, and that we could share footfall with people who'd run their businesses. We could hopefully be supportive and good landlords, again providing good service and building relationship with these people, more than just a landlord-tenant relationship where you pay us and we come and talk to you if you don't pay us and that's it. We genuinely care about supporting and providing a platform that gives these people the opportunity to run good businesses, hopefully sharing some values along the way. That model has just worked amazingly. We've had people that have started by coming to get their eyebrows done. They then join the gym. They then get a massage from upstairs. They then get some food from the kitchen. They then stay and have a drink at the bar. They then watch their children play football out on our fields.
There's all sorts going
on, and watching that kind of revolving door of people that just come and stay and use all sorts of different things that come in our site. It's just amazing. We're grateful each and every time someone does, right? Whether it's coming and buying a bottle of water for £1 from us, that's amazing. And each bit of it supports what we're trying to do, but gives us the opportunity to chat to somebody over the desk. And the stories you hear are just amazing. Like you said, hopefully we're modelling wanting to get to know people and find out their story more than we are just to say, do you like our facility? Are you going to stay and keep paying us? And people have amazing stories. It's incredibly stimulating to just have the opportunity to chat to people that come in, hear not only how their day's been, but what's happened in their life. Like chatting to a 30-year-old about 30 years of experiences, chatting to a 90-year-old about 90-year experiences. And we have members in the 90s. We've got members in their teens right through every decade up to the 90s. And each individual comes with a different story. For staff and guest and member, we all believe that there could have been a daily story that's impacted their day. We want to be really patient and with people and know that everybody's got the opportunity to have a bad day. Everybody could have had something happen before they come through the front door. From a fitness perspective, sometimes the front door is the hardest bit of kit to use. And that's something that we talk about in team meetings. For some people, that coming into a gym is a massive step. For some people, it's really natural and is their zone. They thrive in a gym more than they thrive in a nightclub or in an office, and that's kind of their zone. For some people, actually opening the front door and coming in and saying, "I'd like to have a look and consider learning how to do some exercise," that's a massive step.
It is,
and we want to help as many people use the front door as possible, and then help them with understanding and knowledge about how to and what to do once they're in there, and hopefully play a part in helping them on that fitness journey wherever their starting point is and wherever they dream of getting to.
No, of course, and I think it's all part of I guess the experience of opening and starting this all. As you said, you hadn't run a business before this, you hadn't opened a gym before this, you hadn't run a bar before in any of this, and obviously those things come and the skills grow, the skill set grows, and you're now at a point that you've got. I suppose you're someone that wears many hats, I suppose, within the gym. Have gone, right, okay, all of a sudden we're now serving a beer and Retty. Like, what's going on? I mean, where is the Atrium today? Where is the Atrium, would you say, in your journey of what you see the Atrium being? Where is it today? I mean, what's coming up?
Well, right now, January 2025.
Yeah.
We are prepping for 2 of our big long-term projects to open. So, kind of starting point was the gym. Yep. Then creating, like I said, space for other businesses to come and be a part of our site, which has been helpful with, like, not only steady income for us, but generating footfall to the site. We weren't at all sure how well the gym would do in the way that we were trying to run it, but the gym's given us a platform to employ more staff.
Yep.
and put money into these other 2 projects that we've done, which is a spa and paddle tennis courts.
Yeah. I mean, this has been such a big deal at the Atrium. It's unreal, isn't it? And but also again about the community, the amount of people that is brought together already, and even the people that are there all going, you excited for the spa to come up? Or
the spa was there before day one.
Yes,
before the 18th of June, the spa was in our dream.
Yep.
I don't think that we knew how much it would generally cost, how much work was needed on the building to get that open. I think I might have optimistically told people that we might open the spa in 2022.
Yep.
So we're now in 2025. But we are where we are. There's been lots of different reasons why it's taken that long, but the end product is unbelievable. For anybody listening to this that likes nice spas, this will be beyond where we hoped to get it to. It's going to have lots of different things to it. It's going to be big, and it's going to have room for a lot of people, and we hope that this is another thing in the really good product for hopefully affordable price, and people can come and benefit from what we're putting in. And this isn't just, we like relaxing in a spa, so we're putting a spa in. Like, it's fueling the kind of one of the underpinning foundations of the site, which is health and fitness, health and well-being. And there's lots and lots of stuff, even since we started the project, which talk about some of the benefits of saunas, some of the benefits of cold water therapy, some of the benefits of infrared therapy, and all of this stuff that is actually just fueling our fire of going, hopefully this can be a place where people are healthier because they use this thing, not they love sitting in a sauna for 20 minutes. Actually, there are some really good ways of using this to better your health, to elongate your life, to prevent long-term health issues. The research that saunas have provided in the sense of what they do of benefiting, it's unreal, isn't it? Really, stunning. It just goes on and on and on. There's lots, and we've got lots of that stuff that we will give to people that are using it. And just say, look, this is what it can be. I'm sure we'll use that in marketing it moving forwards.
100%.
Because like we said, this isn't just you've used saunas before, so come and sit in another one. There might be some elements of that. That's okay if people want to use this thing for relaxation, right? That's totally fine. But actually, we want to, again, hopefully provide knowledge to people that we've learned along the way. We weren't experts at the start, but putting these things in, we've done our fair share of looking, and it's really powerful what a difference saunas can make, what a difference infrared therapy can make in the short and long term. And we hope this can be a really good add-on to what people are already doing in and around our site or in and around their own journeys, so we are really, really excited about that opening.
We're also really close, aren't we?
We are really close, mate. We really says boldly on the microphone that this should open on the 1st of February. I don't know when you'll release some of this content out, but it might be near the 1st of February, so we might be very, very near opening by then. But
it's been caught in 4K now.
Absolutely,
you have to be a man of your word, right?
That's it. So no, we are prepping for the 1st of February open. What that launch weekend will look like, I'll leave with some of the others that are kind of tackling that probably as we speak. And no, we are really excited, mate, and it's been a long time coming. And again, that like behind the scenes, that it's incredibly exciting. It's incredibly exciting among staff and between staff and members, but that doesn't come with its kind of challenges as well. You know, like it's another, feels like whacking another couple of 100 kilos on your shoulders. In that we are putting in an amazing product. This thing's going to be fantastic, but we all have to learn how to use it and operate it. We have to learn how to keep it clean. We have to learn how to make members' experience in the spa as amazing as possible and as smooth as possible. All of us that are at the site will have to learn what a spa looks like at the Atrium. There's never been a proper one before, so we're all going to be on that learning journey together, and we have to make that bit of the site a success, right? Again, we've had to get huge amounts of funding to open this door in. We've put in most of the money that we have made along the way into these two projects. Wow. That again, hopefully, will be a platform to take on the business onto the kind of the next level. It's meant that already this coming year we've employed people into different roles. We've got, like I said earlier, we've got people in now kind of leadership roles in the business, which they weren't before. Yeah, and that's really exciting and been a really exciting first 16 days of the year to see them kind of really kind of thrive in those roles. And I think this will allow us to employ more people, allow us to grow more as a company, and that's, again, like I said, that's really important to us. We want to be good employers, just in our own right. We want to look after the people that we're employing. We don't want to ever feel like we're using them or them feeling like they're just pawns in a big place. We want them to feel a real part of this place and want us to be contributing to their time at the Atrium and feel like they love what they do and love working at the site, but also feel really supported and encouraged into, if this is a stepping stone for some staff and they go on to other things in their future, then we want to be a really helpful stepping stone. Whether that's through what they learn or through what they do at the time that helps prepare them for next steps. And if people are on this journey for us for a long time, then the deeper relationship we can build and the more we can all learn about each other and learn what the Atrium might do in the future, the better that's going to be for all of us. Of
course. I mean, I like your analogy of opening the spa is putting another 100 kilo on the shoulders. But I mean, as the gym's gone on, obviously the gym wheels kind of turn in their kind of own way. Obviously they're still not, you stand back and it just rolls on its own, but surely the weight kind of comes off that bar as another thing comes on, if you know what I mean. So as much as I'm not saying that you're leaving the gym behind in a way, I'm more just saying that you're kind of getting to a point where you're like, you know what, the gym's in a really good spot. It doesn't require as much attention as it did 6 months, a year ago, 2 years ago, so on and so on. Would you say that's accurate, or is it more?
Yeah, I think probably it's sharing the load. Okay. So I think there's furious amounts of work that go on behind the scenes, right? It's still every day to make the gym work as it does. But that load is shared among lots of us, and there's people carrying a heavy load in just the gym element than I am now. Among our team, and so. And like you said, there is an air of it matures itself. Like relationships are authentically building between the people that come in and out of it. Between them. Staff now have really good relationships with members. People get to know people that have been coming to classes for years. So some of that stuff, it's not day one for everybody in introductions. But we have met for the first time people that have come in our site this morning before we came here, right? So the work doesn't change. That bit of it does just mature, and it becomes more like clockwork, how it all works, from how it's opened and closed to how things are set up, to how things are done. And hopefully we're doing a better job than we were 3 years ago at keeping it clean, at getting to know members, at supporting them, at maintaining kit. With everything like that, hopefully members' experience and staff experience is better, more enjoyable and more successful than it was 3 years ago. So there is an element of each element of the business maturing and the load being shared.
It's growing.
The team is much bigger and more capable than it was 3 years ago. So that is can feel like some kilos off the shoulders, but I think there's more work going into it now than there was 3 years ago.
It's
just shared among a team of people that know what they're doing. So that's really awesome. And I don't think we'd be able to be considering opening these new projects if that wasn't the case. And even the element of opening, there's so much admin, much to think of, marketing, prep, site prep, boxes to tick, risk assessments, building regulations, like all of this stuff that we have to consider when opening a site. It's not just brilliant, we've banged the sauna in, we're going to turn the light on and we're going to sell memberships and people are going to go and have a good time.
Did you have to learn about that the hard way, or did you kind of have?
We did as much prep and prepared ourselves as much as we could in the lead up to the gym. Opening the gym has helped us on this journey. We're ahead of the game. This has been a much bigger building project than the gym was.
Really,
the gym, we used the space that was there, and so it was a lot of rip out and prepare for space to be filled. This has been the building is very different to it was before, where it is. So there's a lot of walls that have come down. There's a lot of walls that have gone in. It
looks so different.
It's a very different use of the space that was there before. So in its own right, the project to manage has been massive.
If you go onto the Atrium's Instagram and scroll all the way back, I mean, you get the first photos of what it looked like before and now, kind of what it looks like now. Obviously it's changed little bits in between, but I mean, just that alone, the difference is like unreal. It looked from as you said, a bit of a tired place that needed a little bit of TLC. It looked like from that it's now at a premium quality looking gym. It just looked incredible from these photos of before and after. The transformation is amazing. Like sometimes you step back, right? Like I remember walking around with my brother on the day before the gym kit was installed in the gym. So the flooring was done. All the painting had been finished. The walls had been done. The sign had been put up. So you just stood in an empty
room. We walked around this thing and it was just crazy. This is a little bit nuts. A little bit of that kind of deep heart feeling of going wow, and then that sense of anticipation. With a few nerves jangling and a real kind of positive anticipation of going, wow, like this has been the journey that it is up till now. Now we have customers in. Now we have a liability to the people that are coming in, not only to give good service, but to keep them safe and to help, really, so the game changes once people come in. And that's the journey that we're about to go on with the spa. It's been lots of wow, oh my goodness me, that looked gross, now it looks unbelievable. The sauna's been installed. It
was a couple of weeks ago that the sauna was installed, and I just happened to be in a fortunate position of being in that room when you had a look, and it was me, another member of the Atrium staff, and yourself, and we were just kind of looking over it. There was heat in a sauna, and I for some reason I just took a minute to not look at the sauna and to look over and more listen to you and almost look at the bigger picture, and the beaming smile you had across your face, and your words were, "I don't believe it." And it's just like, just having a look at that picture, it's just quite incredible in the fact that it all started from, again, a building that needed this TLC to the point that you've now got a full-fledged sauna working in this building, in this community, in this brand that you've built. And it was, I have to say, it was really incredible just to stand there and just kind of watch you take it in, admire it, and go, you know what, I don't believe it. Like it's actually there, and to look at that side of it was such a nice thing to see, and it kind of takes another box of like, right, I've got to get this man on my podcast. Of like, right, I want to tap into that. I want to ask about that. I mean,
there's days like that all the time, mate. In big and small moments, like there's specific milestone moments, right? Like that, and there's other times where we got a modular facility in to provide a better space for the football academy, and the prep, the kind of organisation is huge. And then the install days, manic, and then it's in, and you step back and go, wow, that's unreal. And there's been elements of that along the way. Like we knocked about the top floor to create a more relevant zone for therapists off the high street that are running up there now.
Yeah.
And that was the same. That was our team. That was our guys that put all the walls up and did all that bit. And kind of remember when it's kind of stepping back, and Gaz and I and Anna from therapists off the high street, like kind of going, wow, like that. That's another zone that's been done. You know, there's little pockets of that little milestone moments. That could be whether it's a kind of a sublet deal done and someone comes in and starts running their business, and you step back and go, they're awesome. You know, that's as much of a case when someone comes in with a bit of a need, and a staff member will sit down with them, have a coffee, and you watch it happen, and it's wonderful. And probably other business owners or other kind of, if there's anyone that runs similar sites or similar businesses, I think they'll appreciate what I'm saying there. Whereas there's lots of different moments on a daily basis, and some are bigger than others, where you just step back and go, I think that's awesome. And obviously then amongst them, there's the more complicated days, and the days that you stick in the bad day box and try and move on from, which again we still have regularly. Like, of course. There's all sorts of regular challenges and days that the heart rate gets high, and and you kind of feel that the stress levels kind of get to you a bit. But again, hopefully we just want to model dealing with those well when we're on the site and quite present quite regularly. We hopefully hopefully deal with stress. Hopefully we don't put that onto other staff in unhelpful ways, and have ridden the waves that the Atrium's brought us. Hopefully with I mean, so I don't know the right word, but hopefully we dealt with that well.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've created. Not only have you created that community for all the people that just go to the Atrium, but it's also the community of the members of staff, of the people that can also look back with you and stand beside you and go, you know what, that's just incredible. We also helped this. We also put this work in. We also done that. And there's little things like that literally all over the gym and all over the building, all over the business. It's really hard to not say all over the gym.
But people will call outside a gym, and that's okay. The building, and it is a gym for some people. That's okay.
It is, yeah.
It is, and new staff and older, not by age, but by how long they've been with us. Staff, have amazing relationships now, 100%, and that's awesome. And our gym and spa manager now, Catherine, her son Alfie has only been coming to the site for about 7 months.
Is it
7
really?
months,
Wow.
mate.
Okay,
the boy, he made his mark, and he's an example of someone that actually he wasn't in our plan. Alfie wasn't in our business plan or our community plan, but there's people that come along the way, and they come and get involved, and they make their mark. And for anybody that listening that comes to the Atrium, they probably know exactly who I'm talking about. But for anyone that doesn't, Alfie's one of a few people with additional needs that come and they help us. It was nice at Christmas to be able to recognise him, Ibby and Reese, all with different needs, and they all contribute to the Atrium in different ways. Probably all of them have had wonderful chats with Reese, who does some active work in the gym for us now. They've probably been quizzed on their life story by Ibby, and they've probably been called double their age by Alfie, and it's wonderful. And they're part of what we do, and they become a big part of our site.
I mean, all three of them have made such a splash of entry into the Atrium. But a really nice one as well.
And people will say to us, mate, that it's wonderful that we support them, and wonderful that we let them hang around at the Atrium or let them help or whatever. They give more than they take. They are real givers to our community, mate, and they make people laugh, and they bounce around and bring energy to people, and all in their individual ways, mate. They really contribute, and that's wonderful. And I hope that as the years go on, mate, that we continue to see more people that have different diverse needs, have different backgrounds, have different challenges that they're going through in their life, that can come and be a part of what we're doing, and again, we can be a safe space for them, and hopefully we're providing people that will just love them for who they are and where they are, and some of these people do work at our site, in all honesty, like that, and it might be that we can navigate with some local charities or some local people that find ways of actually providing them with an income, and it might be actually they just bond by us being a helpful place for them.
Yeah.
And bless him, Alfie spends 30 to 40 hours a week with us because we are his safe place, and that's been awesome to see. Like Gaz, among others, have provided him with a kind of weekly to-do list or a daily to-do list, and part of his to-do list now is to pay 3 compliments out. So he might say nice trousers, a nice haircut. Some of that's to do the hoovering.
I have received the compliments. I've received the daily compliments. I've been the tick in the box.
So and again, some of that's a bit of a laugh and a joke, and is just a joy to be part of. Some of that is hopefully we're helping these people grow in their ability to be a part of a community and to contribute to society. So they're awesome.
I think it's part of it because especially like when they're in the gym, there is pretty much always someone smiling or laughing. When Alfie, Ibby or Reese are in the gym, there is always a laughter that kind of follows them around, and you're just like, you know where Alfie is because someone's laughing over there, and it's just like, oh, you look over and he's asking them to get him fish and chips and things like that.
And we're
you know what I mean?
And we're watching their journeys, mate. You know, like Reese's confidence grows every time he's in the gym. Ibby has now learnt to introduce himself before asking others who they are and what their mum's name is and where their dog was born and stuff like that.
What team do they support?
And he's learnt most of the time to ask those questions at an appropriate time rather than when someone's squatting with 100 kilos on their back. And so you can see continuous development, and also, mate, it's been really awesome. Like it doesn't come naturally to everybody to just have relationship and have conversation with people of kind of needs. And again, mate, it's just so joyful to walk around the gym, walk around the bar, and see people just engaging with these people and loving them for who they are and where they are. And look, let's be real, sometimes these boys can be really annoying. And right, and we can have a laugh about that. But so can anybody else, right? You can annoy me and I can annoy you, and that's not annoying because of who they are or what they are. That's sometimes just a lack of knowledge over boundaries or a lack of knowledge of what somebody else is needing in that moment. But people love them for who they are. And we're not getting complaints about these people bothering people. We are getting, those people are awesome, aren't they? I love it that they're part of this. I love it that they've got their Atrium top on. I love it. And from a work perspective, they're really helpful, mate. So they're just kind of a little glimmer into like a like daily routines, though. How we can help them and how they can help us and how they can be a part of what we're doing is really important. And we didn't know any of them before we started. We didn't know that they were going to roll along, and we don't know who's going to roll along in 2025 and make their mark on our community, and we're excited for whoever that may be. So and again, if anyone's listening and they haven't found a safe place for them, or have a child or a parent or a friend that has different neurodiverse needs or hasn't coped well in their environments and or in a gym or anywhere, I hope that we could have a go at being a place that they would feel safe and feel able to have relationship with people and to be loved and be talked to and be interested in. And hearing people's life stories, mate, is, like I said earlier, it's just awesome. It's really, really good, and would encourage anybody in their own environments just to ask people their stories, and whether they've had an easy one or a hard one, it's a privilege to hear, really. So
I think one of the beautiful things of sitting here and speaking to you now is the fact that I can see of how proud and how happy you are with the Atrium Health Club, but I can see that you're more happy and you're more proud with the community surrounding the Atrium Health Club than almost with what you've built as a business. I mean, it just seems that you're in love with everything about it, the people, the business, the what it brings, the laughter that it brings, the people that do come in the door and unfortunately have that bad day and cry and things like that, but and it's all of it is welcomed, isn't it?
And I think that there's and I remember it might have been one of the advisors, it might have just been might have been somebody else before, but I remember somebody before we opened it kind of having if you have an underlying aim to create an environment that you want to work in, create a site that you would want to be a part of, create a gym that you would want to train in, you may not go far off. You may not be far off from what you're trying to achieve. And actually that it hasn't always been on the front of your mind, but actually looking back, we have created an environment that we, as the business leaders, certainly Abby's my wife, probably should have mentioned her earlier. We just love being a part of it. Like we love the interactions that we have with staff. We love the interactions we have with members. We love the excitement of trying to help a business grow. We love new things coming across the table. We love things that we've been planning for, like the spa, materialising into the last steps. And it's a site that, it's just a joy to be a part of. Like it is so multifaceted. That's a weird word to use, but that's one of the only words that can come to my mind, in that there is something new every different day. Like you said, 1 minute you're pouring a pint, 1 minute you're serving a coffee, 1 minute you're having a heart-to-heart with a staff member, 1 minute you're meeting somebody for the first time and hearing their story, next minute you're helping put some bricks and mortar on the wall, next minute you're getting a paintbrush out, next minute so one of the lads is underneath the building cleaning something up.
Or there's kittens.
There's kittens that have made a home underneath the building.
Yeah, that was a little side quest a little while ago. A load of kittens under the building. Yeah,
and we really love being a part of the site that we've been able to contribute to create, which is awesome, mate. And hopefully, well, we know we have been that to other people, and hopefully we can be it to more and more. And that's how Abby and I would chat at home, like the Atrium's quite overpowering and is now a lot of what we talk about and a lot of what we think about. But the exciting moments are, I had this conversation with this person today, or I saw this person do this today, and they're the exciting bits. And all the sleepless nights, of which there were a lot of at the beginning, there still is some now. They're worth all the little other moments where you're talking about, wow, isn't that awesome that that's happened? Isn't that awesome that they're doing that? And that's wicked, really. And it's tough for Abby, just to talk about Abby for a sec. Like, she's probably the one that, we're passionate about life, right? Like, relationships aren't. There is other relationships outside of the Atrium, and we've both got lots of friends. We're both part of multiple churches, and we hope that the Atrium provides us with a sustainable business to provide us with an income that we can kind of live our lives. And like I said, that's just provide us with a platform to continue to have the life we have. It might be that in the future we have kids that we need to contribute to. It might be that I don't know where our life will go, but I can only imagine it being in the local area and an Atrium being a part of it. So we want to create a business that will sustain us from a job perspective, but that's to sustain us, to have relationships with our friends, have time to hopefully go on more holidays than we've ever been able to do, to have time with family, to have time with the people that are in our lives, and have time to do our hobbies. Like, we both have quite a full life out of the Atrium. I've always been sporty, enjoy playing just about every sport that doesn't have much risk of me getting hurt. I don't think I'd be that good a boxer or that good a rugby player, but any racket sport, football, any golf, love all of this stuff. I'd be the same. We're passionate about people coming around to our house, so hopefully can host people for meals and stuff like that. Really passionate about the things that we try and do with church and through the communities that our churches help us be a part of. And again, another underlying undertone of the business is actually, hopefully this is our job for life. Hopefully the Atrium is our job for life. And Abby still works full time outside of it, whilst playing a heavy role in some of the behind the scenes work at the Atrium. And she's probably one that misses me the most when it takes up a lot of my time still, and someone that has had to sacrifice a lot to make the Atrium what it is today, and also has contributed a lot despite running a full-time job that certainly at the start was our only income. For a long time we lived off Abby's salary, and had she not been willing to do that and then give everything to the Atrium, we may not have been able to make that bit a success at the start, to give us the platform to hopefully go along with this thing. So shout out to young Abby.
That must have been such a beautiful thing of, right, we're starting something that is larger than yourself. You're starting something that you almost have, I don't want to say no clue, but as you said, little to no experience in kind of these things that you are doing. How nice is it to have that supportive person of Abby. I mean, I've met Abby. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. So happy, so friendly. It's like you can't really say a bad word about her. She is absolutely lovely. I mean, going home at the end of the day and having that someone there to support. I mean, how was that a crucial part of it? I mean, would you say that it just? I mean, you said obviously from the aspect of that she kept working and you were living off her salary and things like that. But I mean,
they're the smaller bits. Like Abby's amazing. I would encourage anybody, if and when they are choosing a partner to do life with, to choose wisely.
Yeah.
That is a massive call, and my life is enriched because of Abby every day, not just at the Atrium. But yeah, we were two people that, again, like, chose to get married before the Atrium started. When we got engaged, the Atrium wasn't a word that was in our vocabulary.
Yep.
We were one of the COVID cancelled weddings, so waited patiently to get married.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we were May 2020 and then December 21, both of which were cancelled. So waited till 2022, which is obviously actually after the Atrium opened. So still the longest bit of time off that we've had during this thing was our honeymoon. Which was awesome.
Yeah.
But again, we've obviously, like Abby and I, and have seen and supported all sorts of couples and families.
Yep.
And want to be light about saying, just talking so positively about having somebody amazing to go home to, which I do, but some people don't. And
of course,
and we want to just recognise that actually there are some single people, and some people in hard relationships, some people in relationships that are ending, and some people that are in relationships that are starting, some people that would like relationships that they're not in, some people that have had a kind of tough zone of relationships, and just want to kind of recognise that, and that doesn't mean that their life can't be awesome.
Of course,
doesn't mean that they can do similar things that we're doing. And don't get me wrong, Abby has been so helpful for what I've been able to give to the Atrium, for what we're able to do in other areas, and life with a wonderful wife is awesome. So when picking relationships,
choose wisely.
Pick someone that's going to really contribute to your life. And again, we've just got a similar value system. We believe in a God that knows us and loves us, and believe in a God that can do big things and bigger things than we are capable of through us, and think that the Atrium is one example of that. And that kind of foundation has helped our early years of marriage.
Yep.
And the married people listening to this will know that marriage doesn't come without its challenges.
Yeah.
And we've had some marriages close to us end, which is always very, very sad. And hopefully that's not a journey that we go on, but we know that there's going to be some tough times come for us in our life, and we'll ride those waves when they come. And hopefully the couple of early years of foundation, and again, surrounding ourselves with really good people. We've got some good encouragers on our marriage journey, and we allow them to speak into our life. And again, we're really happy to hear hard truths. There's areas that I can be a better husband, or she can be a better wife, and areas that we can sharpen those marriage tools. Then that's that really. But kind of having that marriage is another driver to make the Atrium a success. There's lots of kind of underpinning drivers that make us want to make this thing good, and it's not just, are we going to build relationships with people? It's not just, are we going to get to a certain amount of members in the gym, or can we get a nice spa in, or can we keep adding to the site? It is we want to support our lives, and I've got a wife at home that I want to be able to contribute to what we're doing. It's the people that are working now at our site that we have at the top level of, actually, if this business goes south, there's a lot of people that are working and loving it here that would lose out. Now we're hopefully playing a positive part in people's lives from a community perspective. There's a lot of people that would then miss out, and I'm sure there'll be other places that they could go and experience similar things. There's some wonderful businesses and sites in Reading doing their thing, and we are not the only community in Reading, and I get really excited when I see other people genuinely really trying to create communities and do that elsewhere, especially when they're kind of shaped around health and fitness, just because that's a passion. But I remember the moment where we were on the lookout for someone to kind of come and be a manager, kind of to help support Gaz and I, and a year ago yesterday, Barry started.
Wow. Was it really been a
year ago yesterday? Yeah.
Wow.
And for those that haven't met Barry, he's the short bald one that floats around the site. But he is an amazing person I've known my whole life. He baptised my brother.
Yeah.
And we just got such a good relationship with him. And I remember him, he was again a bit of a kind of turning point in his life where he was wanting to opt out of a job that he had done for a long time, just as this role was kind of becoming something that we were wanting to fill at the Atrium. And actually it kind of, through conversation, felt like he might fit that role really, really well. And we were sat on the roof of the Atrium during Reading Festival, over a little glass of whiskey, and kind of both decided then, actually, I was like, mate, I'd love to consider you for this role. And he said, cool, well, I'd love to consider
taking the role.
So kind of conversations formalised a little bit and did what we needed to do. And Baz obviously handed it his notice in at his previous job, which was working for Edinburgh Council, working in reparation for youths coming out of prison or in trouble with the police or doing lots of things. I don't want to do a misjustice to what his job was, but again, a caring person willing to back people and help turn their lives around. Cool. What a great fit for us, as well as someone that's going to contribute to our staffing structure, that's going to contribute to what we're doing at the site. Someone that's very, very capable in lots of ways. And I remember, well, hilariously, we had conversations in the lead up going with Baz asking, I'm not sure there's going to be enough work for me. I don't know what we're going to do. And there could have been 2 Bazes in the last year, and they'd have both been busy. But I remember in kind of the early stages of January last year where he was joining and then had joined and started to work full time, and I was like, oh my goodness me, this is someone that I care deeply about outside of here, that's now working full time, has quit a full time job to come and work for us. There was suddenly a new wave of kind of pressure on my shoulders. That was like, if we don't make this thing work, that's so rubbish for Barry. That I mean, so there's loads drivers of it's not. We want to make this work for the people that are involved in it, for us outside of it, and there's lots of kind of reasons that we want to make this thing work and for the business itself to be successful, and that's not just to pour it all back into the Atrium, whilst that's where most of the energy has gone so far, and a lot of the energy will continue to go.
Yeah, of course.
And I think the community will stay as effective as the intention that people put into it. You know, you can lose those elements if we don't continue to pour heart and soul into.
Well, there's a couple of things in my notes that I kind of want to touch on before we wrap up the end of the episode. So, I mean, one of them is, how does opening your own gym affect your own training? In a sense, there's always kind of been the bit of tongue-in-cheek joke about like a mechanics car never works, builder's house is never finished, that type of thing. Does a gym owner's training style change? You're evidently not a unfit person that doesn't go to the gym and things like that. I always see you training in the gym. So, how did that change? Did it change?
Yeah, massively. I think I've had much more of a routine training program before this than I did now. I'm not the best manager of time in the world, so haven't managed to kind of create a really regular training program into what everything else we do. There's an element of I know most of the people, or have got to know most of the people that come in and out of the gym, so conversations tend to flow. It's difficult to wait your headphones on and just crack on with the session, and I'm sure a lot of the staff would feel that way. Training has become less of a priority. If it's a long, busy day, it's less important than going and seeing a friend, having some food, seeing Abby. So whereas before it was probably higher priority when I was playing a bit of a kind of, when football was more of a priority than it is now. Like, not that it's not a priority now, but when it was more of it, training was more important for that. Whereas often training now is to make sure I'm staying in shape, make sure I'm not getting injured, make sure I'm like, it's a stress reliever. I used to run to try and run at a certain speed. Now I run to kind of to de-stress from the day, or it's kind of, so I mean, so you can see the real different kinds of benefits of training. But yeah, and probably don't have there's elements when you're in your 20s of you want to look a certain way or want to lift a certain way. No disrespect to anybody that's doing that, they're really good goals to have, but it's just that the outcomes of training are less important now, and it's about making sure my body's moving correctly, making sure that whilst I still play a lot of sport, I'm not getting injured, so I'm in a level of condition that I can still play. I always strive to be fit, and I'm passionate about what fitness can do for you, so I want to stay fit, but kind of means my training is quite ranged, concurrent, to use a technical term, but have lots of different things to try and achieve from my training, so tend to just, it's more of a fit in when I can, and hope that as kind of, again, the loads share out more as time goes on, that I can have a bit more of a consistent training regime, and would love to kind of feel how I did way back when that was the case, but yeah, it's taken a bit of a backward step to everything else at the Atrium, so so can testify, it's not like you get people that come into the gym and have all sorts of different mindsets towards it, and a lot of people, it's that they've had a relationship with fitness before and now don't, or aren't as fit as they used to be, or have put on weight, or have started to get injured, or aren't moving as freely as they were. And I mean, I can testify for that. That's my journey, like I was in really in really good shape, and probably certainly in comparison to me now, really fit. And now, like you said, I'm someone that is fit, but not as fit as they were, so I can understand that mentality, and that's never easy. It's never easy when you cross the brow of the hill that you're not the fittest you've ever been. So and we talk about this all the time with people that are really struggling with their own self-worth or self-identity, and actually we're running a place where we can improve our health and fitness, we can improve our health, we can lose weight if weight's a problem for us, we can build strength if lack of strength's a problem for us, we can become more mobile if mobility is important for us. So we're doing all of that, yet we don't want anybody that comes into the Atrium to for their self-worth to be in just how they look. People are way more than that, and for people of all ages, and for men, for women, for people in relationship, people out of relationship, we've seen, and hopefully again helped people that really struggle with their self-worth being in how they look. And their kind of their look in the mirror, or their ability when they first come to the gym to be how they see themselves. And we don't want that to be the case. People are way more than how they look, and we see people that are in kind of societally wonderful shape that hate themselves, and that makes me really sad. And we see it. And the health and fitness journey can be one of contentment as well, and that's what we want people to know, that actually they can learn to love themselves wherever they are, on day 1 or day 100 or day 1,000. That we want to hopefully help people go on a contentment journey, that they learn to be more content with where they are, whilst trying to get better in certain areas. And obviously we know a little bit about what kind of what life can be like if you're stronger, or if you have more energy, or if you're fitter, what areas of life that can make easier. We want people to have longevity of movement, so they can run around playgrounds with their grandkids, or can experience less injury when picking things up off the floor or getting things out of high shelves. So we want to help people with that, but we want to help people away from that kind of heartache of, I don't like me because of how I think I look, and therefore how society or people around me perceive me. We want to help people move from that through conversation and through relationship, move this thing away from, you are defined by how you look, or defined by how fit you are, and that's the kind of top pinnacle of what you're defined by, and it's not. And
it's such a
identity is way bigger than that. And again, not to over spiritualize this thing, but to go back to the God that we believe in. Actually, we believe in a God that knows people and loves people for who they are and where they are and wherever they are, and wants to meet them where they are, and first and foremost to know that they are loved. They are known and loved by God we want to hopefully reflect that value at the site and go, look, wherever you are, we want to know you and we want to love you. And through that, if there is areas that we can help you improve or get better or get fitter or anything like that, then fantastic. But first and foremost, we want people to help, even just a little bit more, know and love themselves, because we see a kind of real pandemic of people that just don't, and people are really discontent, and people that really don't have an identity in who they are, and therefore it gets into things like this. And we know some of the challenges that come with young people now with social media, and there's lots of comparison, there's lots of, oh, I don't look like them, or I can't do that, or I don't have that. And again, we just want to help people find contentment in what they do have and can have. And then again, without that sense of settling for that and not trying to achieve and improve. But that's kind of where we want to help people. And we see that in staff. We see that in PTs. PTs aren't free from this. That, like, I'm not free from this. Everybody can go on that spiral of lack of contentment, that I'm not as fit as I was, or I can't run as fast as I could, I've got a sore knee now, I used to be able to do everything without getting a sore knee, or those kind of things that actually nobody's completely free from, but we can hopefully help with mechanisms to overpower the thoughts so they don't become dominant. And that's one of the things that we want our site to be passionate about as well. Not just look better, feel better. I don't think that's the case at all.
No, of course, and I think that is such a kind of toxic part of the gym that is definitely spoken about, but isn't thought about or spoken about enough. Is the fact that people do go to the gym sometimes for the wrong reason. And if they go for the wrong reason, they won't keep going. And obviously with New Year being about and everything, there's a lot of New Year's resolutions and things like that of like, right, I want to do this, but it's whether you want to do it for the right reason. Like, I mean, there was a point in my life where I was like, right, I'm way too big, and I've got to lose weight. And I knew I had to lose weight. I knew what I had to do. I knew how to do it. I just needed to go and do it, and I never wanted to. And then eventually, and I tried it during that time of not really wanting to. I was like, you know what, I can't be bothered. There was points that I was going to the gym and I'd go for like 2 weeks and stop. And then I'd go, and then 2 weeks later I'll go again and I'll stop. And then it finally got to a point where I was like, you know what, I want to do it for me now. Not because I'm having the jokes and, oh no, I'm a bit big and things like that. I'm not fitting in the clothes I used to do. It was now like, you know what, I want to go and do it. And within that, I found the love of the gym. I found the niche of training that I wanted to be in. I didn't want to be in the kind of bodybuilding. I wanted to be more on the strength side of things, and I kind of found that. And I think people will find that when they start going to the gym for the right reason.
Yeah, I don't want to overread too much into the reason that people go to the gym. What I was more focusing on in the previous statement is the reasons why people don't feel great about themselves, and the gym can be one of many mechanisms to help people through that. Whilst I think the gym can be for everybody, I think everybody can have a positive relationship with the gym. It isn't necessarily for everybody and doesn't need to be for everybody. I think movement does. People need to find a healthy relationship with movement. People need to find a healthy relationship with exercise, but that can be finding what works for you. Dance fitness is one of our busiest classes at the gym. I know, and that's an awesome workout.
I'm not going to go try that one.
Yeah, I've seen your moves, mate. I'm not sure you've got that in your locker.
Wow.
But people can go and have a positive hour at the gym, or 45 minutes over the classes, where they're dancing along to somebody that's leading them through some movement. Again, there is no accountability over how good or bad you are at dancing. That becomes an awesome workout for people. That's really healthy. That's really good for heart and lung health. That's awesome. So sometimes it's about finding what works for you. I would passionately encourage everybody to find their relationship with movement. If that's not a gym, if that's not our gym, if that's not something that we offer, that doesn't mean that there isn't something out there that will work for you. And movement is really, really key. Exercise is really, really key. And I think there is a form of exercise and forms of movement that people can really enjoy, and therefore can help them on their health and wellbeing journey that we're all on through life. That is a bit of a roller coaster, a bit of a stocks and shares draft. It's not a direct line through life for anybody.
No.
And don't want to sit here as some sort of expert because I'm not at all. You know, there are people in the local area, maybe even at the Atrium, in fact probably at the Atrium, that have a wider knowledge of health and fitness than me in the gym. There is people that will know way more, that will be running way more successful businesses than the Atrium. There's like success is defined really differently, right? And it's okay for other businesses, other sites to define success differently. Like I said, we tend to define ours purely on the depth of relationship that we are building with people, how many people we can hopefully help, and if we can run, the finances have to work right. We have to make the finances work, and the more successful that we can make the finances, the more that we can do at the site. But just because we're doing what we're doing in the Atrium doesn't make us in any way, shape or form experts. We're making the best decisions we can on a daily basis. Yep. We're trying to support staff, to support staff, to support staff, to support everybody that comes into our site as best as we possibly can. And, you know, it's very difficult. It's quite a unique site. It's very difficult to look back and go, are we doing as well as we could have done? Yeah. Could we have done way worse than this? Yes. Could we have done way better than we're doing? Potentially, yeah. You know, like we don't know, and it's important we look back and learn from areas that we can acknowledge. Yeah, actually, that wasn't the best decision. That we shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't have put that there. We shouldn't. We could have done that better. If we get the opportunity to make that same decision again, we'll make a different one. And look back and go, yeah, that was a wicked one. Let's make sure we replicate that. And look back and learn. But we don't have a time machine that goes backwards. So we can't look back and go, yeah, brilliant, let's become more successful up to January 2025 than we have done. We've made the best decisions we possibly can. We're furiously passionate about what we do, and we'll continue to try and make it a success in the future. You know, like we have a joke with some people locally that I won't mention their name, but we have a regular laugh about it, and people that came in on day one and drove away from the site and going, they are miles out of their depth. Yeah, they're never going to make this work. This is never going to be what they hope it to be. And again, whether it's working or not, whether it's a success or not, some people might define differently. Some people might disagree. You know, we could sit here and actually we think this is achieving what we hoped it to be. Some people might go, that site's not doing what I would have expected it to do. The kind of the deep dark behind the scenes bits of, do you know what I mean? Of you don't really get to know of any business. I don't know. Look around the other businesses, other than kind of obviously close friends, where you're talking a level of depth and openness of how businesses are funded, or how they're kept going, or what, or how the finances work, and all that kind of jazz. And so I respect any businesses and that are kind of going, and respect any business owner that is kind of doing their thing, because it's hard graft. And it is. So have full respect for anyone doing their thing. And there might have been people that would have stepped into our shoes that would have done a better job than we've done. So we are by no means experts, but we are where we are. We feel privileged to be in a place where we can run this thing and lead this thing, and hopefully in 2025 and beyond we can continue to make more good decisions than bad ones, and just continue to see what we've seen in certainly the more recent years of the 3 years, because there's so much to look back on in and amongst some of the rubbish and just think really joyfully on, really. There's some amazing memories already created, and some amazing relationships built, and we'll hold true to them, whatever happens in the future. So it's been worth it already for us and for everybody else. But we hope this thing goes really long, and stays. Yeah, stays where it is. I love that. I love that. Continues to grow, and we continue to add to it. So yeah, I mean, I kind of touched on it in there. It's one of the questions I kind of want to ask, and kind of it's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek, bit of a jokey question, but I mean, New Year's resolutions, big thing. A lot of people start at the gym. Is your favourite month January as a gym owner? Is your favourite month January and February? Our best month, if we're defining it by how many people sign up, January is better than any other month. Yeah. February and September close behind. So that is exciting. It, like, from a business element, anyone that's involved in kind of businesses that sell things, and like the sales are exciting. When people come and are part of your business, you can be confident, and you can believe that you believe you've got a good product that people will enjoy and use. But you never know. So each day that everybody signs up, it's it's really exciting. It's really encouraging.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we've had a good start this January. Last January, for people that don't know where we are, we're next to the river, and we were underwater for 4 days.
Yes.
We had a 1 in 100 year flood, and I do hope it doesn't happen again for the next 100 years. But we missed that early element of January, so we didn't experience the kind of first 16 days that we have done this year.
Was that really January last year?
It was January last year.
Wow, that was. Just that in itself was a very interesting time. Just going to the gym, you were shuttling people in a minibus through the flood to get them from the kind of main road to the gym.
It's an exciting time, and we'll whatever challenges this thing throws at us, we'll just try and there
you go. There's
and keep things going as best we possibly can. So
I take it when I'm opening the Atrium, the shuttle bus driver hat wasn't necessarily a hat wasn't
quite on the radar.
It wasn't on the agenda.
There's been all sorts of things. I'd love to have a better memory. I'd have loved to have kept a better diary than we have done. But there's thousands of things where we didn't think that would crop up, or we didn't anticipate that, and have had to react in certain ways. There's some stuff that you plan for and it kind of goes to plan. There's some stuff that you have no way of planning for, and it's kind of thrust upon you, and you just have to deal with it as best you can.
Yeah, of course.
The river bursting its banks, and
that was a
big lake. All of our football fields becoming a swimming pool. People often ask us if we're going to have a swimming pool, but we had one for 4 days last year, and no one joined, so that was a shame. So
I don't think you can class a River Thames as a swimming pool, but I mean,
people swimming it right.
Yeah, you pitch it.
Would have been bold to charge memberships for that. So like we've got some like that. That's one of the bigger memories. But like, to answer your question, there's different months of the year that are exciting for different reasons, and wouldn't want to put. Don't have a favourite. In fact, the summer months are way more fun for me. I'm a summer guy. I'm wearing shorts today, and try and wear shorts all the time. But I'm a summer man. Our site's beautiful in all seasons, but in the summer especially, when the evenings are long and you've got the views, the sunsets.
It does pop, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing, and outdoor things happen, and so I like the summer months with us.
Yeah,
the January months are definitely exciting, but lots of sign-ups doesn't come without its challenges. Like,
of course,
like our gym's a lovely gym to train in, and probably the last couple of weeks it's busier at peak of times than
100%. Yeah,
suddenly we're having conversations about the weights area being busy and stuff like that. And that's not. I mean, it's a nice problem to have, but that's not comments that you get at our place consistently throughout the year. So more people doesn't necessarily come without more challenges.
Yeah.
So I couldn't pinpoint certain ones. Our month where we do our family fun day, that takes quite a bit of prep and has been a fantastic day. All 3 years that we've done it. We hope to do a few more community events like that in the years to come. So do you know what I mean? Reading festivals are our intense period.
Yes.
We create a relationship with them. We're obviously on their borders. We have their medics, their security, their sponsors stay at our place, and that is an intense week.
That is
to like teachers having Ofsted and exams week, accountants having tax year end. We've got Reading Festival week.
It is a busy week.
It's intense. We have to. It causes a bit of disruption for our members. There's less parking spaces. There's
people everywhere.
There's people absolutely everywhere. But it's so fun.
Yes.
And and there's some weird, like, fun challenges, right? Like the security on our site for 24 hours a day, so we don't have to lock up the building. There's stuff that's taken off our to-do list. But like coffee sales, kind of more than, I don't know the word to time something by 5. I should know that, shouldn't I? But like beyond triple. Our bar sales beyond triple. Like we have.
Yeah. I know there's quadruple, but I don't know what is 5.
So there's amazing impacts from a pure business perspective. It's a week that's brilliant for our income. We can hopefully plan to go, cool, if the festival's as good as it was last year for us, we might be able to do X, Y, Z at the site in the winter.
Yeah.
So that's what we budget for, that boost of income, and to go, cool, if we get that again, then here's some of the things that we might be able to do with it. And some of those plans we share with members, some of them we keep as a surprise. But so that's a good booster for us from a pure financial business perspective. It's a really fun week. It's a really intense week, but that in its own right is really unique. That's 8 days of the year. They come, they go.
We see them
again next year, hopefully. So that's another good contributor to the site, but in its own right. And members have been really patient with us through that, and we hope that they will be in future, and hopefully that the income, like we said, that festival brings us, we can use for members to enhance the site. That will not only make it better for festival each year, it makes it better for the regular day-to-day, week-to-week users of the site. And that's probably a helpful point to recognise that members have been really patient with us throughout everything. You know, we will have made. I don't think we've had the financial backing that people might have thought we had running a site like this. So there's things that we've had to do slower. There's things that we've done in weird random orders, and there's things that we know are tough for people. Like we've really gone for, can we get lots of footfall? Can we get lots of business to the site? That's meant on weekends when there's junior football and church league football and stuff like that, that the car park's busy. People are patient with us. We're now adding paddle courts, which is coming out of our car park.
Yeah.
We're incredibly aware of that. Like having parking for current users and current members is top priority. So as we grow, we will grow the car park. If we were to ever put more paddle courts in, we would put more parking in first. So we're kind of aware of those things, but really appreciate members not quite getting the super smooth service that they always get sometimes because of decisions that we're making.
I think everyone can understand that from a. I mean that is life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not everything in life is smooth sailing, and not everything in
but people are paying for a service. So we it's on our website as one of our benefits of our site, right? That we get free parking right next to the site.
Yep.
So we want to make sure that people get good parking that's free next to the site.
Yeah. So get the benefit.
So everything that we're testifying that we've got, we want to make sure that stays that way. We've got all sorts of things that we dream about being adding to the site, which is largely bound to investment that we may get in the future, or how well we do financially as a business that we can then pour back in. But we won't sacrifice the integrity of the member experience for anything that we do.
No, I love that. Yeah, and I think that's staying true to the business, and I do think that's extremely important. And I think people, well, definitely I can see that you have stayed true to that, and you're not. I mean, as you said, the amount of people that are going to come down that lane, drive under that Atrium sign and come up to the building and go, you know what, I think they could do this, I think they could do that. And there's a lot of suggestions from everyone. There's a lot of voices.
Opinions, mate. There's probably things that we have done that came from a guest's idea.
Yeah.
There's things that we've been slated for some of our decisions. We don't mind negative feedback, right? Not everyone thinks the same, and that's part of the joy of it, mate. Yeah, and we've got to live and die by the decisions that we make. Other people, like I said earlier, other people might have made different or better ones than we have. We've made choices for lots of different reasons. Tried to hold true to our value system, what our core basis of success is, and not let anything that we do change that. But yeah, we don't mind hearing feedback. We've got people that come in our site that love giving us what's probably in the box of a moan. And we don't mind that, and some things are helpful to be triggered. You know, sometimes in the day-to-day running of the site, you need people to nudge you along the way, and that helps drive the quality of what we're doing, as well as the kind of real positive feedback you get. So it's all helpful, and people's opinions we welcome them always.
Welcomed.
Always.
Yeah. No,
so that doesn't
good.
mean that we necessarily will react from it, but we will hear it all, and it might help shape certain things that we do or decisions that we make.
Perfect. And very last thing then, if you were to give yourself some advice about the Atrium before you started the Atrium, you're talking to yourself back in, what was it, June 18th you got the building. Start of June. Mm-hmm. You're speaking to yourself. What advice would you give yourself? What almost in a way it could be looked at. What advice would you give to the next Atrium business owner that is opening the Atrium in wherever? What advice would you give them? What advice would you give yourself before it all?
Cool, good question. I think advice and accountability is really important. Mm-hmm. So I would have people that you can ask for advice that you really trust and can listen to, and people that can hold you to account, people that you're willing to hear what you're doing that for, why you're doing that. I don't think you should do that. We had that and still have that, and that's been one of the things that has shaped where we are. That's been one of the things that's got us through the first 3 years. I would learn quicker ways to switch off.
Okay.
I think struggled in those early months and maybe even years to really switch off, and I think rest is really important. Time away from what you're doing is really, really key.
Yeah.
Otherwise it can become all consuming, and you can think the whole world revolves around the Atrium, and it doesn't. It's a small part of a small town in a small country in a world where there are much bigger things going on than the Atrium. So yeah, find ways to switch off quicker, which I think I've learned now, but learned slowly. I think I would say probably, like, I think you really feel the lows, or feel the tough bits early on. Like, I remember the first time people cancelled their memberships, and I thought the world was ending. Yeah, you know, you're kind of seeing going out of business staring you in the face, and actually that just riding the lows. Was learning from them, like John, actually, like that feedback was helpful, but learning that again, people will do that.
Was it hard not to take it personally?
Yeah, maybe. That probably wasn't the toughest thing. I think it was just that I think you stared the real day-to-day, hour-to-hour business in the face, and then judged the long-term business on that. And there is some importance in that, but not in terms of a kind of emotional high and low. I think I remember saying to Abby or saying to Gaz, like, that person's cancelled, I need to speak to them right now, I need to try and convince them to change their mind. And almost just a settled version of emotion, you know, like we do make sure we care about every single member individually. Like, if we've got 500 on the sheet and 499 are happy, we want to speak to the one that's not. If we've got 500 on and 400 are experiencing something wonderful and positive from the Atrium and the 100 aren't, we want to care as much for them as we are. Why are they not? What holes have we got in our business or in our site that aren't reaching them? How can we help them as well? How can we make them? And do you know what I mean? Your heart's broken along the way. We had not too quite recently, like, someone come in and have not an amazing experience from the Atrium, and that is heartbreaking feedback. You know, people could have a preference over kit, people could have a preference over gym style, over bar, over price of Moretti, and not want to come back to your bar, your gym, or anything like that. But if people come and they don't experience the kind of welcoming nature and the actually walking away from the Atrium going, those people care, that hurts and that breaks your heart. So, but that doesn't really answer your question originally. That's just the kind of, that stuff still does happen. People don't experience what you're trying to achieve. You can lose people people can slip through the net, and again, people can be having bad days at the site, and that can slip onto people that come into the site. And we again want to show grace and patience to the people having the bad day, but somehow mitigate people that are coming into the site, people that have been willing to open that front door that don't necessarily experience that. So,
of course.
So that's important. I don't think I'm giving very good advice to me in June, am I? I think we've been better recently at delegating decisiveness and autonomy, and I think that would have been really helpful to do early on. There was lots of decisions, and there's still lots of decisions to make on a daily basis, but probably them not all needing to come through us, and just being willing to let other people make those would have probably been helpful.
No, of course.
So, but yeah, it's difficult, you know. Like I said, we didn't know it would go the way it has done over 3 years. I don't know whether different decisions or different advice would have made it go in a different way.
I mean, you will never know, will you?
And we're really pleased with where we are. We've got lots of things that we need to keep doing and keep doing it to make it good. But yeah, we look back much more fondly with moments than we do kind of with trauma over the negative moments.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah, I think that I think God's been really faithful to us as business leaders and as a site, and the people at the site. Whether people put that down to God's influence or not, is do you know what I mean? It's totally up to them, and that's okay. But I think we do. I think Abby and I certainly, and other people that are involved right at the top, do put a lot of this down to actually God being really faithful, and actually God being involved in this thing. So yeah, that's important to us, and we'll stay prayerful and careful about what decisions we make in the future, and yeah, hope to tangibly see God move in it some more.
I love that. Well, I just want to say thank you very, very much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure interviewing yourself, and really getting into the Atrium, and I think something that I'm trying to get out of the podcast is for people to add to their character and almost explain something that the person that just sees you kind of walk past and they get a hello in the gym and things like that, and don't necessarily get the opportunity to sit down with you like this. And I feel like it's interesting. I found it so interesting just hearing about the things that I don't necessarily even think of, and be like, oh yeah, of course, and like, you've had to do that, and you've had to overcome that, and you've had to do this, and there's the highs and the lows and things like that. So yeah, I think it's very good for those people to get an understanding of what it is, what the Atrium is, because at the end of the day, you are the Atrium. You started on this Atrium journey. So yeah, but thank you very much for coming on. I've thoroughly enjoyed speaking to you today, and I hope all the best for yourself and the Atrium.
Thank you, mate. It's been fun.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.